attend them in person. So for those of you we didn't get to for the board meeting, it's really, I think, just two updates. We'll circle around and do those at the end. So welcome everybody to the 2022-2023 school year, which just seems like a very high number. My name is Amanda Roberts. I am the PTA president, and this is my second year as president. I have two children at Maryvale. I have a fourth grader who is in the English program. We live in the neighborhood. And I also have a kindergartner who just started in French this year. So I have kind of a foot on both sides. And I am joined by an awesome executive committee and board, many of whom you see on either Zoom or in person. So just to drop some names, Teresa Clark is our vice president. Eric Polakovich-Carr is our secretary. And then we have Keith Vance as our treasurer. And then a whole host of board members, and collectively we run the PTA. So as a quick just introduction of what the PTA is, because I know this is our first meeting of the year. The PTA, if we kind of boil it down, does four main functions. And the first one is fostering community. So we're doing that a little bit here by having our first in-person / first hybrid meeting in 2.5 years. So we want to always have a Zoom option because we know that is so much easier for parents, who we all are by definition, to attend on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. But we also want to give the option for hybrid. I don't know that we'll do all of our meetings hybrid. We might do every other or something like that, but we welcome feedback on that. There's some fun little technological glitches at the beginning, but I think we got over them. We also foster community through things like our family picnic that's coming up this Saturday at 11 o'clock, the Cougar Kickoff. Want to find ways to bring people together, especially after 2.5 years of physically distancing from each other. It's nice to try and find reasons to bring people together. Another function is sharing information. So that's as simple as the weekly newsletter, but also ensuring that you are getting information about changes or things that are happening or ways that you can connect with other people. We do a lot of fundraising. We'll talk a little bit later about our budget. And we do the fundraising not just to make money, but to then support the school. So we'll talk in more detail later, but we give, our single biggest expense is $4,000 to the library every year and about $5,500 every year to teacher grants. And now we're giving grants for after school programs for teachers and then various other activities, musical instruments, supporting summer school, et cetera, et cetera. And then our fourth main function is organizing volunteers and advocacy. So that can be volunteers as simple as things like the book fair, which is coming up, or advocacy, where we are representing ourselves either within the school, at the county, at the state, et cetera, to ensure that we all have a voice here. So with that, every PTA meeting always begins with the principal's update. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Prin, who's going to give your update.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody.
Yeah, I'll turn the camera so they can see you.
Okay.
Next time.
Yeah. You knew why I said
Can everybody hear her?
Yeah, I'm definitely camera shy, but I can talk loud. Yeah. So the beginning of the year has gone very smoothly. You've heard it in the Connect Ed message. Your children are doing a great job following routines and procedures and helping to help each other, help the teachers. We're doing a great job with that. We're still getting enrollments, actually. We had a new student enrolled today that will be starting tomorrow, another first grader. So we're at 612. Tomorrow we'll be at 613. About 100 of those students are in pre-K, and then the rest are in kindergarten through grade 5. So we are going to probably meet our projection, which was about 630. I imagine we'll meet that, before the end of the year. Our demographics for the school remain pretty consistent. About 24% of our student population is African American, Black, about 10% Asian, and about 19% white or Caucasian, about 38% Hispanic Latino, and about 8% identify as more than one race. About 17% of our students receive ESOL services. About 45% of our families participate in free and reduced meals. And about 12% of our students are receive services in special education. It could be speech language, academics, it could be any one of those needs. So we celebrate our diversity, and it continues to be what makes us great. So it's a celebration as always. I did want to say that our staffing, because you may have heard on the news that staffing is a challenge in not only Montgomery County, but and across the nation. But we, with the efforts, I have to say, Dershan, Jane, our principal intern, he was not opposed to cold calling people this summer from lists of highly qualified teachers, and it paid off. So we are professional staff. We are fully staffed. And not all schools can say that. And it wasn't staff that we felt we were settling just getting somebody in here. We hired high quality people. And so I'm thrilled. I know staff is thrilled. We are short paraeducators for our autism program. So we had an additional autism class added this year. We added a 4th autism class. We still only have 3, but this year we have 4. So we have each of those classes carry about 5 paraeducators. It's a pretty much one-on-one service provide in there. So we're short on paraeducators for that, but we're again increasing up. So we're hoping to be fully staffed. And again, thanks to Dersham for his efforts in recruiting. So that's it for staffing. I did want to say tomorrow is an early release day. Don't forget, we dismiss at 1:20 tomorrow. And there, the 26th of September is Rosh Hashanah, and that is no school for students or teachers. The office will be open, but we don't have students or teachers here on that day. And Dershan, I think you were going to give an update.
Yeah, we have the drill. We're going to be doing our security and safety drills soon. And so with that, we're going to be doing lockdown in shelter. We know that there's a variety of feelings that come about with the young ones whenever we're doing some of these serious drills. So if a child comes home and talks about it, we'll put it in our Connect Ed, but just let them know that it's our responsibility to make sure everybody is safe, and it's just something that we have to do. Then we also, just a quick COVID update. We've only had 4 positive cases for students and 1 positive case for staff, which is night and day compared to last year.
Yeah.
At this point last year, many schools were mitigating only that. That was the job. Another experience that we're looking to promote falls in line with one of the system's priorities, and that's this idea of inclusivity. And so MCPS is sponsoring an LGBTQ plus night. It's going to be virtual, and it's basically an affirming place for any LGBTQ plus student or ally. And so if you're looking for opportunities to talk to your child, or have your children talk to other students, or some of the students that live in our school system that might be experiencing something different than them, it's a good opportunity, and it's catered for elementary school students K to 5. As far as that, I think that's the last thing we had for us. I don't know how it was for you, but it was probably one of the smoothest openings that we've experienced since 2019. I can't tell you how many staff members came up to us and said, "Is that it? Are we done? Is that it?" And so I hope that you felt that it was smooth as well. So that's it.
I did want to just say before we head on, thank you to Madam Payot and Madam Booker for joining tonight. They're our 5th grade French immersion teachers. So if you've not met them, I always tell staff they're invited, but they're tired at the end of the day, as we all are, and you get home. But I thank you for staying and joining. I don't know if anybody has any burning questions or questions for me, or
Does anybody on the computer or in the room have any questions? I think I just want to echo from a parent's perspective, and I see some nods in the room and on the Zoom. I felt it went really smoothly too. My kids were happy. They wanted to go to school. There were no major mishaps on buses or anything. So thank you for making this a place that our kids want to come to every day. We appreciate it. All right. So next, yeah, I think. Okay. Next is the treasurer's update, but we are going to actually move around the order to a little bit later so that our co-treasurer can get home from ballet practice and help with some of the details of the budget. So we're going to skip to number 14 on the agenda. Oh, I should have also explicitly said, I don't know if I did. Those of you on the computer, if you go to maryvalepta.org and click on the calendar, you will see links there to the agenda, which I'm reading off of. And if you're in the room and you haven't picked them up, they're there on the table, as well as the bylaws, which we're going to talk about actually next. So this is just, if you don't have those in front of you, this is your opportunity to go ahead and get those off of our calendar. So what we are going to do now is talk a little bit about our bylaws. And just as a process point, today's meeting is for me to introduce the bylaws to you all, kind of explain what they are and why we're doing this, take questions, and then we are going to all sit on this for the next month. And during that time, you have an opportunity to review, to send me emails with suggestions or changes or what have you. And we will vote on the bylaws at the October meeting. So today's meeting is just an introduction and discussion, and next month, I'm sorry, we will do the actual voting. So to kind of take us back to the beginning, bylaws, I think people know these are our governing laws, they're governing documents. We are redoing them for two reasons. One is we have to redo them every 3 years, and it's been 3 years. And the other is, without going into too much of the drama, there has been a change at the state PTA. The Maryland PTA had some very serious leadership problems and is now defunct. We had no state PTA for a short period of time, and now we have a new PTA forming, state PTA, and it's called Free State PTA. And I do not know why we couldn't just call it Maryland again, but there must be some legal reason why we couldn't reuse that name. So we also, every PTA in the state also is being asked to redo their bylaws because we have now new bylaws for Free State PTA. So we are doing that to be in accordance with their requirements. And in terms of just even the document, this is a template. I went onto the Free State PTA website, I downloaded it, and everything that you see highlighted in yellow is what we inputted. So those are where, thank you. Those are where we had choices. I mean, sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes it's just entering like the name of our PTA, but anything that's not highlighted in yellow was standard language from the state, but where we had choices is what's in yellow. So that's kind of what you should focus on, and where you might want to either provide feedback now or later. And then I think the third thing to mention that's kind of important is that this is generally a continuation of the status quo. I did not really shake things up. What you're seeing is kind of what we've always done. Not that that's a reason to do it, but I think generally we felt like it was working. So this was not like a large deviation from what we've done in the past. So a couple of things to highlight, we have the option of choosing more than one vice president. So I know Meadow Hall, for example, has 2 vice presidents. We have had one. We feel like that works well. We have all of the board and the committee chairs, who I think can serve the functions that we might otherwise have from 2 vice presidents. We retained, this was actually a state thing, a 2-year term limit requirement. So actually at the first meeting of the year, I'm going to put a bug in everybody's ear that the 4 of us on the executive committee, president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary, all 4 of us are in our 2nd year. So we're going to be scouting new people next year. Yeah, Teresa's pointing at everybody. So, maybe keep that in mind as you think about next year. There are a number of places where we could pick things like quorum for our meetings, number of days where we need to give you notice for a meeting or a meeting changed. The minimum numbers of meetings a year. We had 4 previously, we kept it. We tend to meet every month, except like August. but we don't have to meet every month to the extent, maybe we reach December, it's the holidays, everyone's busy, and we don't have a lot happening anyway. We can skip that meeting and still be fine. So I will pause there. For many of you, I know this is the first time you're seeing it, but if you have any questions about the document, its content, or the process, feel free to raise those now. And then we'll circle back and for the vote in October. Any questions? I will say I had Natalie review them and she's a lawyer, so it's her fault if they're not perfect.
I am not legal representative.
Disclaimer, disclaimer, right? I know, I work at a place with disclaimers too, so. Any feedback or thoughts before we move on? Again, as a process point, so I'm president at MaryvalePTA.org, or really you could email any of the executive committee members. Our next meeting is October 11th. If you have any thoughts, again, for most of you, you're seeing this for the first time. If you want to give us any feedback, feel free to do so. And then we will vote with the full membership on the October meeting. And then there's process points to sign it and submit it to the state. So, okay, great. Moving on. So we're going to go, Sandra, to fundraising update. You want to move or can we see you, Sandra? I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay.
So our first, we had Chipotle night or restaurant night at Chipotle last week, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And we raised $400 from that, so that's great. And then we'll have a little fundraiser this weekend at our Cougar Kickoff. Kona Ice is coming and they give us back some of the profit they get from that. So come to Cougar Kickoff and enjoy some Kona Ice. It should be great. And then we are going to be sending out flyers for a fundraiser with Seasonal Roots, which is a kind of like a
CSA?
Yeah, it's like a CSA, but the produce is from, most of it is from like small farms in Virginia. And they, for signing up and joining them, we get, they give us $25 for membership. I think it'll be on the flyer. And so that's going to be ongoing till December. But they deliver to your house every Wednesday. And if you're not in the boundaries, they will deliver it to the school. So for teachers who might live farther away, they can deliver it to the school on Wednesday. So it's nice, convenient. You can pick your size and you can also skip weeks, like if you don't want to do it for a certain week. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, let me know. But we'll send flyers out this next week for that. October 4th, we have another restaurant night, and then we'll be starting a Cougar Cash fundraiser, which we did last year, and it's just basically where we just ask them to donate. Don't have to do anything. If some people like just don't have time to fundraise or sell things for the school, that's just fine. So that we have, I think Keith had what did he have for our goal? 3,000. So
We did 5,000.
we did 5,000 last year, so hopefully we can do that again. And then we'll have the book fair the end of October, beginning of November, and a couple more restaurant nights coming up as well. So thank you.
Sorry. Thank you, Sandra. And again, what we're going to go into right now is the budget, and it's because of these fundraising efforts that we can spend the money on everything we do. So we really appreciate it. And also, restaurant nights, obviously everybody's still, has differing levels of COVID comfort, but they're also another way to build community. If you dine in, you get to see people, and, my kids always love coming and spotting the number of people that they know. So we really appreciate it, not just for the money, but also for another opportunity to gather. So that's wonderful. And in terms, Sandra just said, but one of our really big fundraisers, and I think just really fun things, is the Scholastic Book Fair. So we have the dates. It's going to start on Halloween, although unclear whether we're actually going to be open Halloween or just do setup on Halloween, because it's Halloween and everyone's dealing with Halloween. But it's going to go that whole week. and then culminate in the science fair. So that's another save the date that we will have the science fair on Saturday, November 5th, which is not a fundraiser, just a really great experience for our kids. So Keith, are you ready for me to circle back for budget?
Yep. There was no changes needed because of the thing. We had, the money was in there. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So can you, actually I have first here the audit update. You want to present the audit and
Yeah.
then your screen on the budget? The membership is going to be voting on that, so.
On the budget, yeah. No, here it is. You see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the audit was performed. It was balance on hand, $8,266.32. I mean, you can read the numbers. It was signed off by 3 people, Karen, Jeff, and Aaron. Yeah, I'm not sure what level of detail that you want to.
Okay, so just to provide a little background for everybody, you know, the state, I think even the national PTA does require that we do an audit every year because we need to prove that we're legit and above board. So Acacia met with 3 people at the bottom there at the park one day and brought the books, and it was their job to go through the books, to check things, to make sure nothing looked fishy, to check receipts and bank statements and those types of things. And make sure that all of the numbers added up, et cetera. So the short summary is we're good. And this will be submitted to the state and I think also national, and will be done every year. So this is just our presentation of that to let you know.
Yeah, and this amount here, $17,051.23, then that carries forward to our next budget. That's how much money we have then carried forward for our 2022-23 budget. Yeah, so everything's transparent and reported out.
Keith, I don't think you need a vote on that. We're just letting the membership know that this occurred, right?
Right, that's right. So what
Yeah.
so for the budget,
Yeah, perfect.
But that says it's the summer budget.
It does. Oh, is this the summer budget?
oh, did I click the wrong one? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, 17,051.23 is our balance forward. This is what we're expecting to bring in for donations and fundraising. $4,000 in donations, 15,800 in fundraising, membership dues, and just other random things that generate income to be $22,175. And then we have costs, there's costs associated, cost of goods sold was $7,450. So it puts our profit at $14,725. And then down here, we list our expenses. These are the things that we pay for. This is where our support grants for buying books, for scholarships, for buying books for the library. The good things that we do. Musical instruments, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I think it's 4,000. What is it? I think it's $4,000, you know, for the books for
The library, yeah, for that.
So when it's all said and done, then we carry forward. We'll have if everything works exactly like this, we'll have $2,675.63 going forward for our summer budget. So you always want to carry forward about $2,500 you have some expenses throughout the summer that you have to have some money for. The fundraising is a little conservative. We could definitely go more. We can end up doing more on our fundraising. But it's basically what we did last year.
Thank you, Keith. So just to, I said some of this at the earlier meeting, but I think to kind of set the stage a little bit more, especially for those of you who are new to the PTA. First of all, this represents a pretty healthy budget. You know, between the holding school and COVID, we were really struggling to fundraise. And last year was a pretty great year, largely because of Sandra and Rachel. And so we are in a very nice position to be able to give back to the school. Obviously, it's not limitless funds. We still need to continue to fundraise. You know, the Cougar Cash Drive is our single biggest fundraiser of the year. But it allows us to give $4,000 for the library, to give $95 to every teacher who is a member and can use that money for anything they want in the classroom. We've added some new things this year, like after school club grants. So for teachers that are willing to do an after school club, you know, last year it was about maybe October that Mr. McCarthy sent an email and said, I'd like to do a chess club. I need chess boards. And so we now will have funds to do that, because we know that there is a demand, and this is the type of money that we can be spending. We also will be, you know, using this money for the family engagement programs. That's a lot of what we are talking about with the picnic, and as we go through, you know, international night and some of the things that we kind of are able to bring back and that people know and love. So the other thing is, you know, the budget, what you are looking at the screen right now, what we're about to vote on, these are the high level numbers. There is a more granular breakdown that the board was just looking at. And this is our full year annual budget, but we will make changes as necessary, though depending on the change, it may require a membership vote. So don't be surprised if we come back to you all in January with some changes, because expenses arise that we don't anticipate. There are things that we may want to be moving around, etc. So are there any questions or comments about the budget?
And we also, like, we were able to fund the like the support. They had the grant for the training for the recess people, but the grant didn't cover travel expenses, and so the PTA was able to come up with $500 to help with that sort of thing as well.
Any other questions I may on Zoom? Questions or comments? All right, Keith, do you want to call for a vote?
Yep. Yeah. Can I get someone to, I don't know, vote to approve the budget as it is?
Second.
Oh, so moved.
And I heard us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So all those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, so approved. Wonderful. Thank you. All right, we are rounding the bottom of the agenda here. So under other business, I just have a couple of quick updates. Actually, I think I've mentioned them all. But again, if you don't already have it on, stop sharing. Oh, you can stop sharing your screen, Keith. You don't have it on your calendar already. This Saturday, 11 o'clock, fingers crossed for no rain, is our Cougar Kickoff family picnic. So bring your own lunch and a blanket or folding chairs or whatever you plan on eating your lunch on. And there will just be a lot of other families there eating their lunch as well, outdoors. We will have, of course, the playgrounds open. We have the Kona ice truck there. We are going to have lawn games set up. I had a lot of fun shopping on Amazon for random lawn games. And again, the Kona ice truck will be there. A portion of those funds will be raised toward, will go toward us. And it's really just, it's not a fundraiser. We will have some spirit wear for sale, but it's really just an opportunity to celebrate the beginning of the new year, to gather, to meet, etc. And then we also have, we already noted the science fair is November 5th, and book fair is the week before that. We have the next restaurant night, October 4th, right? Right, yeah, that's at Lido Pizza on Rockville Pike.
That's right.
Okay, think that's right. So we're at the open forum part of the meeting. Are there any topics that anybody wants to bring up or anything anybody wants to say? All right.
Hi, I have
Go for
something.
it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm on my phone. I'm not used to this. I bought a shirt and off the member hub. Do we know when they're gonna be delivered?
Yes, so why don't we go into the Spiritware update? So that was actually one of the items from the 6:30 meeting we didn't get to. Lindsay couldn't be here today. She had a conflict, but we are really, really excited to have this new online store. So this is a great example of when you talk to other PTAs, you learn some really great stuff. So Meadow Hall has this great woman that they've been working with who actually used to be the president of the Maryvale PTA. Her children went through here. And Wood Middle and Rockville High School all use her. And so she does this on the side. She lives locally and she set up the store for us. And we now are super excited to take orders, to have variety, to have different sizes and colors, etc. Because we no longer have to worry as much about stock and what we have on hand. On Saturday, we'll sell what we have on hand, but it's nice to take the pressure off. And when someone says, I want a sweatshirt in size large, they can go get it. One downside is we're not Amazon and we don't have 2-day delivery. So I texted with her last week and asked her and she said 7 to 10 days. And I was texting with her on Thursday. So I am hoping that we are talking 7 to 10 days from this past Thursday. And the way it's going to happen is she's going to bring a bulk order to the school. And then we are going to have to, organize to put them in the right, well, I don't even know about mailboxes. We'll probably deliver to the classrooms. So it'll go home with your kid. So that's a long way of saying it's going to be a couple weeks delay every time. And in this particular case, I was just on it before I came here. We have quite a few orders. It's really exciting. I think hopefully you will be getting those in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And if you haven't already checked out the store, the link is on the agenda. Pretty exciting. Thanks. Anything else?
Comments.
What's that? Oh, is there a comment?
Oh, no, never mind, we're good.
Okay. Any other topics for open forum? All right, just what we're going to do now, I mean, the formal part of the meeting is over, but the one update, I just did the Spiritware update, would be Stephen to do the advocacy update from the board meeting. Do you want to give an update?
Sure. So Steve Hendrickson, I'm a Maryvale parent. Julie Floskovich Carr and I are going to co-chair the advocacy committee. Advocating on behalf of our families and our community is a big part of the PTA mission. We think it's an area we can grow. We're actively looking for members that want to join our committee to help with that. I think at a minimum, we're looking to kind of connect some dots between connect with Brian Price, who represents us with the countywide PTA. So where there may be advocacy issues where we think our PTA should be speaking up at the county level, kind of connecting there. And as a board committee, we have a vote that we're going to do our best to vote in a way that we think aligns with the advocacy and equity goals for the PTA. So feel free to reach out if you have any suggestions. I think we have a lot of ideas. At a minimum, we just kind of bring that perspective. And between Julie and I, we will have one vote for that committee. So thanks.
And thank you for name dropping Brian, because Brian, I totally missed you earlier today. I skipped over your item. Do you have an update?
Yes, actually, I have 2 updates. At least for MCC PTA, I don't have an update because the delegate meeting isn't until September 27th. However, as for, I guess, like the arch chair here, I'm at Maryvale. I haven't got a chance to discuss the possible programs that we'll have, but I just want to say that it's not going to affect the budget at all because the funding comes straight from the state and doesn't go to us. It goes straight to the artists that we would actually deploy here at the school for like either, some sort of like concerts or like a residency for the 5th graders in the springtime, possibly. So but that's
Yeah,
something
Brian.
that still needs to be discussed.
Yeah, Brian, I just forwarded you an email that I think is related to that. I
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
sure.
that's actually a different program.
Okay, I just didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Anything else before we close up?
I'd just like to give a plug for next month's PTA meeting. Our reading specialist, Maria Giordano, I asked at the board if it would be okay. We are doing, Montgomery County Public Schools is doing a shift to structured literacy, and particularly kindergarten through second grade, which is a little bit of a shift in how we approach the teaching of decoding and encoding. And so she had asked to present to parents on what this looks like in the classroom and what this means for your children. So she, the PTA agreed that that would be fine. And so she will be here next month to present. So I'm hoping everybody comes back to hear a little bit more about our reading program here at Maryvale.
It's not.
I'm all done.
I know, the camera thing is
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I look better off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna- Sure.
Maybe this is a good time to say this. The date is October. Oh, no, what is the date? October 6th. We would like to do a grant meeting for articulation from 5th grade to 6th grade. So we'd like to invite PTA and all 5th grade parents to come to school or have virtual meeting about the middle school choices options and be able to think about that before all the open houses begin. And we have information that open houses are beginning the week of October 13th or something like that. So it's just October 12th, in fact, the first open house. And that's for 5th grade parents and parents interested in middle school options.
Thank you.
Anything else before we close? Great. Well, I don't know where the camera is anymore. I don't know. Thank you everyone on the screen in the room for joining. We are happy to have you guys involved. If you haven't already become a member, checked out our website, you can become a member there. Check out the Spiritware store, our calendar of upcoming events, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's gonna be a great year. I think we're all really, really excited. I mean, to your update, right? The fact that COVID was like, oh yeah, there's some COVID this week, but not like dominating everything we talk about. It's kind of refreshing. We are excited for a quasi-normal year and a great year. We really appreciate you guys being involved, and don't be afraid to reach out. Again, I'm president at MaryvalePTA.org, and it's pretty obvious what everybody else is: vice president, treasurer, secretary, et cetera. And we are happy to have you all join. So thank you again and have a good night.
Thank you, Doug. I appreciate your enthuzum, Doug. I've been watching you all night. I really have. Celebrating staffing and everything.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I so appreciate tonight and learning so much, and I just so appreciate all of you. That's what I just want to say that.
Thanks so much.
Thank you all. Bye.
Yeah.